and all of a sudden the sun comes up and hits you in the face, you can instantaneously feel the warmth.
Mm-hmm.
You know how far away that thing is?
I know, it's crazy.
How does that work?
I don't get it.
Man, we got a great show for you tonight. Back from vacation. We got a lot to talk about. We've got fall fishing, Clearwater. We've got new tackle. We've got some little bit of tournament talk. We got a lot of stuff right here today. Thank you for watching Tackle Shop Live.
Sunny day. Right there, you took my
What up, Zoom Master 72? Scott Luckoff, how are you, buddy? Larry Shope, what's happening, bro? Richie Hall, Jeffrey Riddle, man, all the guys are talking in. Brock Pickett, Keith Howard, Dean Rice. Hey, happy belated birthday, Dean. How are you, man? Hope you had a great day. Warren Gartrell, how are you, buddy? Cam McGeeman, what's up? Mike Barr. Man, we got a great crew stopping in here. Don Roeder, what's up, Don? Yeah. Jason Ocker, how you doing? JJ Outdoors, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Renee Lynn Moore, how are you? How's everything going? Man, welcome everybody for another edition of Tackle Shop Live. I am Mike Acord. This right here is George Acord. He's not here right now, but he'll be here in a minute. And behind the camera is cameraman Nick.
How's it going, everybody?
We are back from vacation. We had a great time down in Tampa, Florida. Went to Ybor City, cigar capital of the country, actually. So we went down there and spent some time with some friends and relaxed and decompressed. You know how that is. Did what we could do. Unfortunately, in our situation down there, we couldn't get any good fishing in. And I will tell you this. Every morning when I woke up, I'd go out on the dock. We were right on a canal. And these fish would come in and just blow up on bait. Like these total blitzes, and George and I are just standing there like shaking our heads like what is our problem? What malfunction did we have that we didn't bring a rod and reel down here to throw around? But you know, we know better for next time, and we will remedy that for next year, because we're already planning another trip down there. It was a really great city. It was a great time. We went to the football game. We watched the Bucks and who was it? The Ravens. Man, what a great game. And we had these fantastic seats.
What do you mean, who was that?
Huh?
What do you mean, who was that?
Well, I'm just saying. What do you mean, who was what?
The Raiders. The Ravens.
Ravens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were at the game.
Yeah, I know. I just was trying to remember. I you know, my whole.
That was a good game too, wasn't it?
It was great. We had these seats. They were
Let's not talk about them.
yeah, well, I mean, it's like Corbin was with us, so it was fun to hang out with Corbin for a couple of days. And we bought our tickets down there the night before the game. And we put Corbin in charge because he's just really good at that kind of stuff. So he gets the other thing is we needed 6 seats together, you know, so it was a little difficult. So he finds these seats and he buys them, and it was section 136, row WC. And so we get there, we're all like stoked up when we get there, and we go down, and one of the guys goes down ahead of us, everybody, as we were getting drinks or whatever. And he asked the lady, got this ticket here. I never saw WC. Where are they at? She says, well, they must be down in the front there somewhere. So he walks down to the front and looking around, can't find anything. He comes back up, says, no, I don't see anything there. And the lady says, ask that guy right there. So he walks over and asks that guy, and he says, yeah, I'm in section 136, row WC. And the guy says, he said, I can't find it. He says, well, you're standing in it. And he's like, what do you mean? He said, yeah, all those seats right there. And here they were wheelchair seats. This stadium had a walk around. You can walk all the way around the stadium, and right up against that the fence there was all these seats, and they were these really comfy, cushy chairs, all kinds of leg room, nobody behind you, nobody in front of you. So we had these really awesome seats, and we kind of felt embarrassed, but the guys like, no, they always put them up for sale right before the game starts. Once they make sure everybody's covered, they put them up for sale then. And then we were able to snag them up. We didn't know what we were buying. I mean, obviously we wouldn't have, but it was kind of weird. But I'm telling you what, you want to watch a game, get the WC seats, huh, George?
Well, I'll tell you.
They were nice. You get up when you want, walk around, do whatever you wanted. Nobody was bothering you. Big old comfy, cushy seats.
Nobody's bothering you because they think something.
Yeah, well, I had George, so it kind of worked out for me because I had George sitting next to me. It worked out well. But we missed it last week too. St. Crest, we wish we were able to do it, and we almost missed tonight. But we persevered through an awesome offer that we had to go do something tonight, but we passed it up to be here with you guys because we think so highly of you, and we missed our last show and we felt really bad about it. So we're here right now. So I got a couple announcements that I want to pop out at you. And for this weekend, there's the Conowingo Championship down on the Conowingo pool, Nick. The comes to an end. The tournament circuit we sponsor. George and I fished a couple of them, and this is their championship. So this is when they're fishing for all the marbles. It's a free entry. George and I match the number of boats. We match a certain dollar figure for every boat that was qualified. And this is the big championship this weekend. So that's going to be fun. And then I have get your pencils and paper ready, because you guys are going to have to write this stuff down. Now, I'm sure if you're on our social media, like you should be, and you are on our email list, you're going to be bombarded by stuff here coming up. But I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on a calendar from now until March, so you can plan your months, and you can plan to be here for some of our events. Because everybody always says, you wait too long to tell us. So, we're starting early, Nick. November the 25th and 26th is going to be our in-house and online Black Friday sale. That's always very, very popular with everybody. It's going to be online, and it's going to be in the house. What's the matter? That's going to be going on November 25th and 26th. We're going to have some great blowout stuff. We're going to have great specials going on. It's going to be a really big sale. George and I have been stocking up tackle here all summer long and all through the fall here, and we got truckloads of it here. So we're going to have some great sales for you. We got some great buys that we designed for that sale. So mark that down, November 25th and 26th. And then for the guys who've been here, a lot of you have, our famous Bass Fest is January 13th and 14th. And that's when we have our big seminars with all of our pros in that we get. And we got commitments from a couple of them so far. We're not going to announce them right now because we want to keep you on the edge, but we got some really good names coming for that. And you definitely want to show up for that. That's January 13th and January 14th. That is a great time. If you've never been to Bass Fest, you need to come. Everybody who's bass fishing nuts is here, and you get to rub elbows with all the pros and talk about fishing up close and personal with these guys. And we have them coming, and it's a lot of fun, isn't it, Nick?
Well, you know what? They don't hold nothing back either.
They don't, man.
They give you all the goods.
Yep.
They answer all your questions, and you leave. You're going, I
Yeah.
just got smarter in fishing.
So many people that leave our Bass Fest, they either tell us before they leave how much great time they had, or they email us and say, man, that was one of the greatest events I was ever at. So this is one you don't want to miss. The Bass Fest, January 13th and 14th. Put that on your calendar. Make sure you come. Now, another event that we always do every year is our Smallmouth Saturday. It's a one-day event. It's all geared towards smallmouth fishing. We have local pros that come in, local guides. We have all the guides will be here. Anybody that's smallmouth junkie around our area and abroad. If we can get a good speaker, we get a good speaker in. We get somebody to come in, or another pro of some sort that's a smallmouth junkie. We try to get those guys in, and that's just a good time. That one is focused. It's very focused. It's all smallmouth. It's all smallmouth talk. And then we have all the guys that are local walking around in here, so guys can pick their brain. You can talk about it. You can talk about what's going on. You can ask questions. All the stuff that we do here in Tackle Shop Live. You can do it personally with everybody. So it's pretty cool. And same with Bass Fest. It's one-on-one, because you get times when they're just walking around in here. You can just bump into them and talk to them about it. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and don't ever be afraid to ask, because
Yeah.
we don't want you walking away going, man, I wish I would have asked that question.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And that's what we do. We make everybody accessible. And everybody that's here working with us knows that they will answer questions, even the most personal ones. Who knows? And when I mean personal, it'll be like, where'd you catch those fish? How'd you do it? How do you rig this? What do you do for that? They're going to answer those questions for you. That's the kind of stuff you're going to get from Smallmouth Saturday. And then to finish off our first quarter of tackle selling season, we have our big giant cabin fever sale. It's just a big giant sale. Everything we kind of clean everything up. It's just a big old sale. We have some great specials. It's a stocking up sale to go along with all the other ones that have great sale prices. But this one is just a 3-day, come on in, get your tackle for the year at really excellent prices and special deals on stuff. And, it's just one of them sales everybody looks forward to. They always want to know when Cabin Fever is coming. So that is March the 9th through the 11th. March 9th through the 11th. So make sure you mark your calendars for that. That's going to be a big deal.
That means we're going fishing on the 12th.
We always do, because we're working, during that first quarter, we work almost every day. We just work all the time, and then by the time that the sale's over, the fishing for us around here is right. And then we always take that Sunday and we all get together and we go fishing, and it's like our kickoff for the year, getting out there and catching them. Not that we don't fish in January and February, but we try to get one fish caught every year during every month.
Oh.
Last year, I didn't get a February fish because everything was froze solid.
Well, you better redeem yourself this
year. But I got a fish in every other month. I got a January fish on the new
January the 1st.
On January 1st, because George and I always go.
Crushed them.
January 1st, that's a tradition. And we always go Thanksgiving Day. That's our tradition. We always go, no matter what the weather. That's the other thing. No matter what the weather, right, George?
Of course.
It
never matters.
We're in some crazy stuff, man.
Well, that one that you guys went last year was like 30, 40 mile an hour winds.
Oh, yeah. But
always go. You you never knock out.
We always go for those days, because that's our gig. We go no matter what. So that's pretty cool. But we caught fish in all those days. So just couldn't get on February because everything was frozen. So we were kind of bummed out. But March and April, May.
You got to fly to Florida.
I know I probably should. And I'll tell you, the time we had down there in Florida, we had a ball. So I know right where to go now. And I know right what dock to stand on to catch those fish.
So speaking about fish, you said there's a tournament this weekend and you guys sponsor it. What would be a good weight, you think, for this weekend?
Well,
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I haven't fished that area for months.
Well, what's going on down there? I've been following. Of course, I follow all of them. And George and I weren't able to fish any of the last several tournaments, so we haven't been on there for 3 or 4 months. But talking to the guys, and there's a couple of guys that are on them, there's a couple of guys that just know this bite this time of year. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if somebody doesn't come in with 20 pounds, because this is the time of year it happens. Now, I don't think it's going to happen because what we're going to talk about tonight. We're just in one of these little funky fall, crazy kind of conditions that the fish just aren't, dialed totally in. It's just not cold enough, to make it happen. So I'm thinking 17, 18. I think somebody could do
That's still
17. 18.
impressive.
Oh yeah, for that area. And there'll be somebody right on somebody's tail, and then it'll drop off a little bit. But they're catching some good fish down there. During the week they whack them when they're running water, but on the weekends they don't run any water, so it makes it a little different. So that's going to be interesting to see. Brian Setlock and those guys put that on, and they do a great job. And it's a championship, no pay championship. All you had to do is qualify for it, and you can get in lunker, of course, and whatever. But I think it's a cool deal. So that's all I have for announcements. Again, thank you guys. Good seeing everybody. Jerry Otto, how you doing? Jack Hinkle, if I didn't say hi to you. Mark, how you doing? Good to see you guys. So we're going to get this show started off right away, and we're going to talk about some new tackle products, and we call this Tackle Talk. Yeah, so we were gone for 1 week, but it feels like, we're catching up on 2 weeks worth of tackle. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about. And what we got here, what do we got this week, George, to talk about on new products and what they're all about?
I mean, we have a lot to choose from. We're going to focus on some crankbaits.
Oh,
it's fall. It's crankbait time of the year. I mean,
1 second.
Okay. We'll start over.
1 second.
What do you got?
Our beer sponsor.
Yes.
Tony Cicero.
Yes.
Thank you, Tony Cicero, one of the great Susquehanna River guides.
Tony does
hooked us up with some 5 stars.
Tony does a ton of guide work for us.
Yeah.
He runs a lot of our trips, and every now and again he stops by and says, "Here you go, boys."
Thank you so much, Tony. It's cold and refreshing.
He always knows the way to our heart.
He really does. He's a Coors Light drinker, but he always gets 5-star for us.
And he's been running a lot of trips lately. Anybody out there in the world that would like to fish the Susquehanna River, upper jet boat country, we are in our peak prime season right now. And it's it's only going to get better. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're just getting into the fall, the meat of the fall bite. Locally here, the fish have been schooling for about a month.
Yeah.
But we've had some, like really mild fall weather. So their sense of urgency hasn't kicked in all the way yet, but still the schools are there. The bite's pretty good. And we have got, the way it looks anyways, we've got right up till Christmas of primo primetime guide dates available. Well, there's not a lot available, but we can get you out. And our guys are ready, and they're fishing every day. I talked to Tony on Monday. I talked to Tony tonight. He was on the water today. He had a little bit of a tough trip today. They caught like a few nice fish, but they didn't really load the boat up. And it happens. I mean, that's talking real to you. The best of the best sometimes struggle. And a lot of it has to do with different factors. But that happens. That's fishing.
Fishing.
But generally speaking, we're in our peak prime season. Anybody out there wants to go fishing, give us a call here at the shop, and we'll get you on with either Corbin or Tony or Anthony.
Yeah.
All three of them are fishing. Anthony and Tony have been fishing every single day of the week now for
weeks. We're very blessed to have some of the best guides on the river working for us, and we're really proud to offer that, through our service here. So we're lucky. And another nice thing about them, they're really cool dudes. So when you get on the boat with them, you have just a freaking awesome time. Well, everybody knows Corbin, so you're going to have a good time with Corbin. But Tony and Anthony are just great. Super great people.
They're primo guys that value the quality of a fishing trip.
All right, so let's talk some tackle.
Yeah, well, it's crankbait time. I mean, fall of the year. I don't know about you guys and gals out there in the world, but I like to throw me some crankbaits. I mean, I'm cranking all the time. Obviously, we start out in the fall. We're seeking a little bit of a wider wobble, because our early fall temperatures are in the 60s, in the high 50s, the low 60s. That's prime time. You want something with some wobble. You might be cranking over top of some grass. So that brings me to one that I have talked to you about before, but I am so impressed with this bait. A lot of times on Tackle Shop Live, when I'm breaking down new products, they're new products. I don't always get, an opportunity. Mike doesn't always get an opportunity to fish them ahead of time. Most of the time we do. We usually get some advanced samples and we can give them a rip, and we do. But this guy here has just really got me going. This is the Shimano Macbeth. They call it the Shallow. I call it the Wake. But I want to break this down for you a little more. I've had this thing in my hands literally on every fishing trip that I have fished since probably May or June. Matter of fact, I've had the same one tied on the same rod. I probably should retie that. So what I've learned with this bait is, it's a true wake bait. You take a look at your wake baits out there. A lot of your wake baits, it takes a couple cranks to get them up and waking. This bait here, if you'll notice that lip angle, when this thing hits the water, I like a high rod. And it's instantaneously, within 2 cranks of the handle, it's putting out that real aggressive wobble and wake.
It's kind of one of the best wakes that
it's a great wake bait
that I've seen, as far as the wake and wave they put out.
It's a great wake bait. It has a nice aggressive wobble to it.
Yeah.
I do want to let you know it is silent. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be completely quiet, because it's got an aggressive wobble, so you're getting a lot of that hook.
You are.
That hook slap against the body.
And I don't know if you noticed that on yours. It's already making marks in it. It's got marks in it.
That's giving you a lot of sound.
It just shows you how much noise it's actually
That's giving
making.
you a lot of sound. Puts out a nice vibration. We've been catching some nice fish on this thing. Cast great.
Yeah.
And
you had it on. You had it on a. I don't think you were throwing it on a crankbait rod, were you?
No, I'm not. I'm actually throwing it on a.
We were fishing the last time I fished with you. It was, we were fishing over top of grass, so you had it on a little heavier rod.
I'm actually fishing it on a fast action. 7-foot medium graphite rod.
I think it had like 12 or 15 pound on there.
It's got 15 fluoro on it.
Yeah, and that was perfect. It just kept it going real good. Right over top of that grass.
Yeah, it's great.
Beautiful bait.
So Shimano Macbeth Shallow, the 50 size.
Yeah, beautiful.
Which is actually the only size. Okay, they also make this exact same bait in a square bill, which we'll talk about at another time. We already did, but I really like it too, so I'm going to talk to you about it. If I bring them back, okay, then we're it's game on.
Zach, the Hybrid Hunter, we absolutely love the Hybrid Hunter, and George brought it back, I think, twice, because George loves the damn thing.
I'm a big Hybrid Hunter guy.
It's a little different.
I don't really want to go down that road right now.
No, but
because we have broken it down a couple times. But I will say this:
you'll love it.
I am a Hybrid Hunter guy,
and it catches fish. So
and the Hybrid Hunter Junior.
Yeah, it catches fish.
I like them both. I've done well on smallmouth and current, shallow. I've done well on largemouth and grass edges. Yeah, I don't really want to go down that path right now, but she's a winner.
Larry Shope, how do you cope with leaves in the water at this time of year? Well,
Smile
Larry,
and wind.
and there's a few words we could tell you to yell, but I can't say it on the air.
First one starts out with yippee-ki-yay, and then you know where we go from there.
Yeah, leaves, man. This is the time of year where you just gotta put up with it, and it lasts a long, long time for us on the river because it just keeps coming down and down and down.
I don't mind them,
but you just got to work through it. You're gonna hook them up. It's gonna ruin a cast or two or whatever. But yeah, you just got to work through it. But yeah, pain in the ass.
Yeah, you just deal with it. Don't worry about it. So the second crankbait I want to break down for you, and I have not fished this bait yet, but I really like the size and the features of this bait. And this is a Spro bait. It's called the Speed Demon.
It's funny because it was laying there and I didn't see what he brought up, and I thought
you thought it was a Lure Jensen speed shot.
I really did. That's what it looked like. I'm looking down. I'm like, what's he bringing that thing up here for?
Well, let's face it.
Yeah. Anymore.
I mean, we live in a day and age where
I love that speed shot.
Well, and the guy that has this as his signature bait, which is Dean Rojas.
Yeah.
He's West Coast. The Speed Shad and the West Coast go together.
Yeah.
I mean, it's famous out there. They even put the snap on the tie.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a
dead nuts copy.
I mean, it's a
little different shape, but it's
a different body material also. It's a very buoyant bait. We're going to be talking about some other Spro baits in the near future that are incorporating this body material. But we have
So what are you saying? Body material? It's different, as in what? Plastic or?
It is. It's a different kind of a plastic that they're using.
So maybe like a more of a foam type of plastic, so that it's more buoyant.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to use that word, but I think you're on the right track.
Okay.
Again, we need to throw this bait.
Yeah.
We need to throw this bait. I should probably take off work tomorrow and fish it.
I think you already are.
I knew it.
I knew it.
So this is a...
Don't worry, I'll work and cover your ass.
Speed Demon.
Look at that thing. What's that look like, man?
This circuit board lip.
I like that.
This is like all the Spro crankbaits, there's some advantages to going with the Spro crankbaits other than the fact that they catch fish. Check this out. You always get Gamakatsu hooks.
See, that's such a huge deal to me.
Remember we used to change hooks? Like
I never did.
There's a lot of brands anymore, and we've talked about this numerous times. There's a lot of brands anymore where you really don't change hooks.
Yeah, I mean, that's the greatest thing ever, man. That's why I have 10,000 Spro baits.
Spro does Gamakatsu.
Yeah.
Rapala does VMC.
Yeah. Berkeley does the Fusion.
Yeah, Berkeley does the Fusion, which you might want to change him out.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, they got the bendies to them.
Oh, they bendy?
They got the bendies. They got the bendies.
They're sharp as hell, man.
They are sharp.
They're super sharp.
I don't change them out. I fish them.
Yeah.
But anyways, the point is there's a lot of really quality, like Nomad is using BKK. So there's a lot of like brand name, Bill Lewis, Mustad, Black Nickel, Mustad, KVD, triple grips. I mean, come on. Okay. And this is no different. You got the Circuit Bill lip, you got the Gamakatsu game snap. That's their medium game snap on the lip there. That's a primo snap. Not a split ring.
Yeah, just snap.
Okay. And then you've got great selection of colors, just good hardware. Have not fished it. It's supposed to run in the 3 to 5 foot range. So it's a nice shallow runner.
And you guys should jump on the website and check them out because
supposed to be able to power crank them.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So that's the
so it doesn't roll over.
Spro Speed. Well, we don't know, but that's what they're saying.
Yeah, right.
That's the Spro Speed Demon 55.
What's up, Ben McCubbin? How you doing? Frank Garvey, Gary Schweitzer stopping in. Good to see everybody. We are, for you guys who are just joining in, we're right in the middle of our tackle talk section. We are breaking down some brand new baits on the market and some old ones, and some different products that came through the doors that's newer or new to us or new for this year. So this is, this is one of our sections. We love talking tackle, so this is our favorite section. But go ahead, George. Where are we at now?
Another crankbait.
Imagine that.
Yeah, another crankbait. New this year. Actually, it's an ICAST debut. We just getting into it now. We brought so much product in this year that this has been scheduled for now.
Yeah,
and it's done. And this is the Storm Wigglewort. But the interesting thing about this Wigglewort is it's a deep version.
And at one time they did make that, didn't they?
They did.
And then they got rid of it.
Well, Normark Corporation purchased Storm.
Right.
Which made the Wigglewort, and there was some kind of psycho resin that it was made out of. And if you go on the interwebs, you can spend, crazy ass Bugatti car money on freaking crankbaits.
Yeah.
Because the sound's different or something. But what's interesting about a Wigglewort and the reason why it's been copied to death, okay? Of course, we just got done talking about Spro. Of course, they have the rock crawler family.
Yeah.
Which is very extensive.
Yeah.
Very good. The thing about the Wigglewort and the rock crawler and some other efforts to duplicate is, in addition to some body roll, you get a lot of this pivot. You get a lot of pivot on a Wigglewort. So a Wigglewort, unlike a lot of crankbaits have body roll, kind of a body roll and a roll, a little bit of pivot, body roll plus pivot.
Mm-hmm.
The Wigglewort is famous for its pivot. You get some body roll, but it really pivots. It really pivots. So you get a lot of movement, a lot of wide movement. The Wigglewort was synonymous with cranking rock. You go out in the Ozark region and you get on Table Rock and Bull Shoals and Lake of the Ozarks. Man, if you ain't got a box full of Wiggleworts, they don't even let you launch your boat. They have a person there that inspects your tackle bag. And if you don't have like a dozen Wiggleworts,
that's the truth. It is. You
have to go fish the White River.
Huge in that Midwest territory.
Now,
all those lakes and rivers out there, they love it.
Like a lot of crankbaits, it's regional. Obviously, it's regional there. There's other pockets in the country, but this is the deep Wigglewort, okay? So it's back. The only way you previously would have gotten a deep Wigglewort is to have an old Wigglewort. But what's nice about this, and this is a 7/16 ounce. I'm reading this right off the package, 2-inch. And I will I will not go metric. This is America. Now they're saying 10 to 20 feet. Now,
there ain't no way that's.
Excuse me, Mr. Normark, and we do like Mr. Normark. The president of Normark was in the shop a few weeks ago. Great guy, but you know what? You might want to fact check yourself. The only way you're getting 20 feet out of this baby is if the guy cranking it's swimming 10 feet below the surface. Okay, so you heard her kneeling and reeling. You're going to be swimming and reeling if you want to get 20 feet out of this bad boy. But 10 to 12 all day long.
Yeah.
So, and which is nice because as fall progresses, and that water starts getting into those lower 50 ranges on a lot of your reservoirs, on a lot of your deeper rivers, it's not uncommon to crank that 10 to 12 foot range, before those fish finally, because the bait's going deeper as that water cools.
Plus, you want to use that bait where you're jinging off of stuff, dinging, banging, bonging off of stuff with that bait.
Right.
That's a bait that's what's made to do. You want to get
that's made to turn big rocks into little rocks.
Yeah, you want to be banging and bonging off of stuff, get the deflection, get the crazy action out of that bait. So that deep diver is going to come in handy for that 10, 12 feet of water because it will hit the bottom end.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're a 10 to 12 foot crankbait aficionado, I mean, we all know Mike's a big Bill Norman, little deep little end guy. I mean,
Yeah, let's go.
he's got that 10 to 12 foot range.
Let's
just
go.
tattooed, right?
Bill Norman. Hey, so we're going to have that,
You know.
that tournament.
I'm a DT 10
We're
guy.
working on that.
You know, I'm in that DT 10 family along with some other baits. Not
I honestly
nothing like
think
that deep little end. But
I honestly think I blacked out during that show.
I really think this deep
I
wiggle
really
wort,
do.
and of course, you know, we're gonna come back.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna come back with real world. You know, we're breaking it down now.
Yeah.
These baits are going home with us,
Yep.
and we are going to wind the hell out of them.
Absolutely.
Tomorrow, I'm going to speed demon 2 miles of the Susquehanna River. When I'm done, there's going to be a foam bubble trail following my boat down the river.
Right.
Okay, so I'll be able on next week's show
Yeah.
to give you some real life
Yeah. So everybody
you
stop in for that. Speaking of stopping in, George,
breakdown.
Jason Baston's here. Jeffrey Reed is here.
Is he related to Jason Basta?
That's what I said.
Oh.
I call him Jason Bass because he's been kicking ass this year on catching all these
And
bass.
he's been kicking ass and catching bass.
He is, man. He's been doing
You know
great.
what I told him?
He's fishing a championship this weekend. So
You know what I
good
told him
luck
the
to
last
him.
time I saw him?
What?
Winning 3 in a row is impressive,
Yeah,
but not nearly as impressive as 4 in a row.
I know.
And he went and didn't win 4 in a row, but
I
he
know.
won the next one.
Yeah, all right.
So now I tell him winning 5 in a row is better, or winning 5 out of 6 is better than winning 4 out of 5.
Chris,
So you better win this championship, bro.
here's one for you, George. I'm going to botch this one. Chris Radachaks. I'm going to say that.
Yeah.
Radachak. Absolutely. He loves the wiggle worts. He loves it. Greg Planks back in the game here. And by the way, Greg, congratulations on your new job. Working with Lakeside Marine up in Harrisburg, rigging boats. Congratulations to you, brother, on that job. Alan Kobach, how you doing,
Mike,
bud?
Chris says he's smashing them on a wiggle wort.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a bit of a tackle junkie, in case you didn't hear that. And I have a bass cave at my house. It's pretty cool. I got 2 boats in there and a bunch of toys that I've collected over 50 years of bass fishing. But check this out. I have a whole entire box of OG wiggle worts. And I don't even use them. I'm scared to lose one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally have them every now and again. If I get in a certain circumstance where somebody's talking some Schmidt talk,
Yeah.
and it's spring early,
Yeah.
I will dig them out,
Oh, yeah.
because every now and again, people that talk some Schmidt need a beat down, and I got to get my beat down bait out.
Well, it's it's that bait that you're just never going to not have in your box.
You know, they
You're
cast
always-
good too.
Oh, they cast great. They run
You know,
great.
you can roll
And-
cast
and-
that wiggle wort, man, and put that thing in some, and it doesn't snag.
And they're totally right. They don't snag. I
It
mean,
has shoulder pads.
it really does. It just goes through everything really well. So
I like to fish my wiggle wort shallow, the standard wiggle wort. I like to fish it on 15-pound test fluorocarbon, because I ain't playing no games. I want it in 3 to 5, 6 foot of water. I want it commanding a presence, and when I hook them,
Yeah. And they're mostly
they're
crayfish.
coming to the house.
They're mostly crayfish colors because they're down in there. You're supposed to fish them digging and banging, so because that's what a lot of the colors of these famous colors are crayfish.
That's a great
colors.
point, Mike.
Yeah.
They're actually,
And if you look at rock crawlers, the same thing. They're 80% and maybe even 90% crayfish colors. Every shade you can possibly imagine in crayfish. Some ghost colors, some dark colors, some red colors, and some greens. A lot of greens too, because that's what you're doing. You're binging and banging and bogging. If you're not binging and banging with a wiggle wort, you should be throwing another different type of bait.
unless you're up in upper country like Wisconsin or Michigan or Minnesota, or for all I know, you might be freaking ice fishing now. But unless you're up there, if you're down in like New York State, down across that latitude, just take that northeast corner out of the equation, some of those northern tier states, you're probably still cranking a little more of a rounded off, wobbling type crankbait. It's probably not, because for the most part, it's been pretty mild.
It has.
Across I'm no weather expert, but I watch the weather a lot, and there's been cold pockets. Don't get me wrong.
Our waters are back into the 60s again.
A lot of waters are.
They're back in the
So
60s.
my point
They've
is,
only dipped in the 50s for a little bit.
And my point is, it's very important to be cranking an absurd amount of your day.
Yeah.
I mean, cranking. And, you want something that's got a little wobble. You want something that's got a little pivot. You want something like a wiggle wart. You want something like a square bill, because that's what's going on right now. And put that bad boy in your hands and go to work.
Absolutely.
And as that water cools,
Absolutely.
I think next week we're scheduled to talk about a couple flat-sided crankbaits. And we're going to talk a little bit about flat-sided crankbaits.
Oh.
But, right now,
Yeah.
get your wobble on, man. Get your jiggle on.
Can I interject?
Mhm.
Speaking of flat side crankbaits, we have, and I don't know if you guys heard about this or not, but you should have, if you were on our social media or our email list. We have a unbelievable sale going on the OG Slim number 6.
The original.
The original OG Slim number 6 on sale right now for some kind of crazy ass price. $549 it comes out to. Regularly $9.99 comes out to $549. I think it's 45% off.
I don't know.
It's 45% off. It's crazy. So you got one more day to get it. The sale is over on tomorrow. So make sure you guys get on sfttackle.com and go to that page and order some of those baits, because they are fantastic baits and they're at an unbelievable price. We had just a great sale on it, and it was a hot one. So you said flat sided, just boom, hit me like that.
I know they make a pill for that.
Hit me like that. Boom, boom, boom.
It's called Vivan.
Hit me.
You might want to get the big one.
Hit me.
Look at this. Nick is saying up in Minnesota, water temps are in the 40s. So Nick's going to be cranking flat sides. And Nick, run down to your local shop if you don't already have them, and do yourself a favor now, real quick, and get yourself a Rapala X-Rap Shad, not a jerkbait, an X-Rap Shad number 6 crankbait, in the hot steel color. Don't buy any other colors. And take that to your lake, and let me know how you make out. If you can fish between now and next week's show, I'm telling you, Nick, it's going to be a game changer for you.
Well,
when you hit 40 degrees and
I don't know about that, but
really,
well, it's a god awful color.
I'm not trying to win a beauty contest.
I don't understand what the hell is up with that color, but it makes you want to throw up every time you throw it.
Bro, you need to get over that.
I can't. I've had like what, a 7, maybe an 8-year problem with that color.
All right. Well,
I can't catch fish on it.
Get up.
George knocks the hell out of him. Everybody else in the whole freaking country kills
That particular crankbait for Nick up there in Minnesota. Because Nick's got another couple weeks, and then Nick's going to have to get the ice auger out.
Well, throw that sucker, Nick, because George
my man
definitely
needs to get out. He's going out this weekend.
Yeah.
Get you one of them If I had time, Nick, I'd ship you one up there, but it's Thursday, and I like you, but I'm not spending next day air money to get you a crankbait. Go get one. I know they sell them up there somewhere. Go to a Shields or something.
Yeah.
And fish it on 10-pound fluorocarbon, no heavier, maybe 8. And, I'm going to talk about that crankbait, Nick, when it gets into cold water temperatures here, because I'm going to tell you right now, I've been talking about that crankbait since there's been a Tackle Shop Live in the winter.
Yeah.
And I've proven it.
Yeah.
That's a bad.
All right. What else you got there? Let's keep moving here.
All right. That was fun. I'm sorry. I love talking about crankbaits. I am going to talk
we all
about.
do, really.
I'm going to talk about line. Does everybody out there want to hear about some line? I want to talk about some fluorocarbon.
Even if they said they didn't want to, I think you're still going to talk about it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go much longer. I got a couple more things I want to talk about, but I'm going to talk about some line. I'm going to talk about some Sunline. I'm going to talk about some Shooter.
I just love the name of that line.
So
Shooter.
everybody knows about FC Sniper, okay? FC Sniper is Sunline's it's their identity. It's what they're known for, and rightfully so. FC Sniper is in the lighter weights, in the 5, 6, 7, 8. It's beautiful on a spinning reel. Absolutely beautiful on a spinning reel. In the higher weights, in the 16 and the 18 and the 20, it's tough, super strong. It's really like, why would we need another fluorocarbon? Well, because it's America and we can have more than one fluorocarbon. So as with most line companies, and look at Sunline, look at Seaguar, Invisex, okay? That's their Sniper. But they have Tatsu, okay? Double the price, but, shock resistant, heavy duty, powerful. That's kind of what Shooter is. Shooter's broken down into 3 different categories. It's broken down into a quote unquote finesse line. And you'll notice it has a purple box. You'll notice this is 9-pound test. So they have a 6, 7, 8, and 9-pound test in their finesse. Okay. So why do we need a 9-pound test? Well, 10-pound test on a spinning rod. If you're not using braid to a leader, 10-pound fluorocarbon on most spinning reels is bad news. The diameter difference makes 9 pretty damn doable when you need strong line and you're not a leader guy. Most of us are leader guys, but hey, not everybody is. It's there. It's an option. So, the first third of the weight range is your finesse line. It's a more shock durable line, but it still is manageable on a spinning reel.
Yeah.
After that, no spinning reel. Now we're going to get into, what I call, slack line hook sets, what I call, hand-to-hand combat, getting into like nasty blowdowns, boat docks with barnacles on them. And
Best kind of fishing out there.
The power special, okay? 16, 18, 20, and my favorite, 22. This 22 is a bad boy right here, okay? So Shooter is a premium grade of fluorocarbon crystal, is used to make, you can have exceptional fluorocarbon, and then some companies like Sunline, like Seaguar, go ahead and do that primo version.
Yeah.
And that's what that is.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing I want to talk to you about from Sunline is backing.
Backing. Isn't that great stuff, man?
So, when you're spending,
somebody thought about that.
When you're spending like $40 on a spool line or the high 20s on a spool line, you don't want to fill your reel all the way.
If you're not backing your reels with fluorocarbon, then you're just throwing money away.
No, if you're not backing your reels.
I'm saying if you're not backing your reels when using fluorocarbon
or braid,
you're just throwing money away.
Yeah, you have to back braid.
You're just throwing it away.
So they actually package a backing. It's called.
Yeah, John, I know you wouldn't.
Yeah, well.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Let's not get sidetracked there. Sokamaki. It's a backing line, okay? It's basically a 16-pound mono but it's 1,000 yards for $12.59. So it's
It's a lot of backing.
and it's 16 pounds, so it fills your spool up quickly. So it's pretty inexpensive line to back with.
Yeah, that's what's nice about
You know,
it.
if you're going to go buy some mono
Yeah.
to back your reels, which a lot of people do, buy some mono to back your reels, right?
What do you got to add, Nick?
Well, George, there was something you said, and it's a real quick tip for anybody watching that doesn't know. Why must you use backing for braid?
Well, you know, man, the train wrecks I've seen with braid on self-inflicted train wrecks I've seen with braid. It's super expensive to fill your reel with braid. Not that you would want to, but you know, the average bass fisherman or freshwater fisherman needs about 100 yards of braid. The average spinning reel of, let's say, 15-pound braid, you're going to take 200 yards to fill it. That's expensive bottom line that never sees daylight. But that's not really the reason on braid. The real reason on braid is if you don't back that reel, that braid can and many times does spin around the spool arbor. Spins around the spool arbor and takes your drag out of play. So always back braid, always back fluorocarbon, because why do we want to take a $39.99 spool of fluorocarbon and put it on the bottom of a reel that's never going to see daylight? You know, if I'm flipping with this, I mean, this is a 110-yard spool. I'm splitting this. I'm filling 2 reels out of this.
Absolutely.
I'm putting 55 yards on 2 reels.
So
Right?
we're, you know, of course, we're in the business, so we get to see this stuff, and people say, I never had that happen. We get it hundreds of times a year where people come in and say, hey, I heard you guys do reel repair. You know, my drag isn't working. Or the people call us up, and the first question we ask is, what kind of line do you have on your spool? And they say braid. Did you put backing on? No. Well, you know, put backing on and then tie that back on and try your drag and then call us if it still doesn't work. But they never call back because that's the problem. Or guys will come in here and they get embarrassed because they're like, oh, I can't believe that, man. I looked and these are guys that know about fishing, and you got to back your braid, period. End of statement.
Let's run an experiment, boys. All right. USA, you know, probably the whole world is watching right now. I know there's people in Ireland, Switzerland, yodelay-hee-ho. I mean, they're all over the place watching this show. There's people in Japan, you know. I mean, they're everywhere. Literally. South Africa, Zimbabwe.
What's your point?
You know,
What's your point?
I'm just naming countries. Australia. There we go. Colin from Australia.
Colin, Australia.
Hey, huh?
I know.
Huh?
Colin, you're awesome.
So my point is, let me remember what I was talking about there. Okay, here's what I want you to do. Everybody in the world, and I'm talking the whole world. Now, you don't want me to go through that list again.
No, come on.
If you think you're having drag issues on a reel that has braid, and you doubt the tackle shop guys, well, I want you to take a little black magic marker, a Sharpie, if you will, put a dot on the lip of your spool that you can see, tighten your drag all the ways down and pull on your line. If the line comes off the spool and the dot doesn't move,
You got a problem.
you, sir, have no backing on your reel. Okay? No backing on your reel. Now, it's going to be our little secret. Okay? We're not going to broadcast it out there in the world.
Yeah.
But that's
You
your
don't have
situation.
to call in. Yeah.
That's your situation. Now, what you want to do is take that line off, go out in your backyard, and just tie your line onto something and walk away, because braid's expensive. Walk across the neighbor's yard. Don't go through the garden. You know,
Yeah, it is.
cut it off. Take some mono with you. Fill about a 30-year spool up with mono or Sukamokai. splice onto your braid and put it on tight. And when you hand wind that braid on that reel, I'm going to repeat this again. Take a towel with you. Lay that braid in a lazy S pattern on that towel and squeeze it. That way you're going to be able to control a very high rate of pressure on there. And you can thank me tomorrow. All right?
There you have it.
You guys do know that Mike will never be able to say that name of that line.
Sokamaki.
Sukamaka.
Sokamaki.
Very nice.
Ha.
Very nice. Very nice.
Hey.
All right.
Sokamaki. There you go.
I have got back in stock these bad boys I talked to you about on Tackle Shop Live. I'm gonna wrap up with this, a quick announcement, and then we're gonna go talk about some technique. Did get a little long here.
Yeah,
Not gonna lie to you.
long-winded.
I have got back in stock the 200 DC. I do not have every model. 150 DC. It's hard to do.
What are you doing?
200 DC.
What are you trying to do?
So I've got a bigger spool.
Okay, yeah.
I've got a bigger profile.
Oh, yeah.
I've got more line capacity,
Absolutely.
but I have all the same features. I have the micro module gear. I have the carbon drag washer. I have the anti-rust bearings.
Yeah.
I have all the gear ratios. This is the extra gear 8.5 big handle. 8.5 has a bigger handle. This is a 22-pound shooter jaw jacking machine right here.
Yeah.
When you need that
Absolutely.
extra line capacity, when you're cranking,
Big giant
bombing
crankbaits.
cranks,
Yeah.
fishing, frogging
Big
with
lines.
heavy braid,
Big lines.
or you just like a big reel.
Some guys do.
Back in stock, along with a shit ton of other Shimano. We actually got like 2 skids tractor trailer deliveries this week from Shimano. I guess their boat must have docked the hell up because they dropped the hammer on us. And then we also got a big Sims order in. We got a big AFCO order in. I know it's warm. Most places in the country, it's going to get cold. Challenger insulated rain gear from Sims. You cannot buy it when it's cold. We do have a minimum inventory in stock now. Probably won't be able to refill it the rest of the year. As well as Challenger rain suits in about 4 different colorways, CX rain suits.
All the AFCO just came in too.
All the Reapers.
All the new
Back
Reaper
up.
colors are here.
And guess what? The AFCO helm gloves,
That
which are
is
the
greatest
best damn
glove.
cold weather gloves.
I'm telling you, man, that is such a great glove.
All right, enough on tackle talk. Went long. Appreciate y'all listening.
Yeah.
We need to be moving to
Yeah.
a new phase here.
Yeah. So we talked about how we do these giveaways during every show, right, Nick?
That's right.
So
Frequently.
this is no different than any other show, right, Nick?
No different.
So we have a giveaway. And this week we're going to do an awesome giveaway. We have the
names are right in there for the giveaway.
this is from last week or 2 weeks ago. I'm sorry.
No, this is from last week.
This is from last week. Oh, when Nick did it. Yeah, when Nick did his show last week, he was like, "Yeah, we're going to give some stuff away." And look at this. We got a whole pile of people in this cup that got in this deal. So how do you do it, Nick? How do you get
So what they
involved?
did was we did a live last week. We gave away the prior week's giveaway, and then we had some stuff, and we decided to run another one. And all you had to do was share and like the live,
Yeah.
and it got you in.
So that's all you have to do.
That's all you had to do.
And we're going to do it again this week.
Are we?
Yeah.
All right.
We're doing another one. So this is the one from last week that we're going to draw live for this week. And then next week we're going to draw live for this week.
Correct.
And what you're getting is a pack of Zoom, my favorite, Super Flukes. I catch thousands and thousands of fish on this. This alone is worth doing that. And then we got a War Eagle spinnerbait. That's a cool color. Had some great success on that color right there. That one is called the Pro's Choice color. And then, man, look at this. This used to be called Statutory Great, but now it's called Smoke Great from Reaction Innovations swim bait, one of my favorite swim baits for this time of year. And then, of course, we have a SFT low hit hat for you to go along with the drawing. It's a great, great drawing for this time of year. This stuff's going to go in real handy. If you don't get in touch with Nick when he contacts you, all right, we ain't waiting around.
You lose.
You lose. We're going to pick somebody else. So we're going to
Actually, I take it.
we're going to save these, Nick. You know, so somebody doesn't hook up. All right, here we go.
Let me draw. I don't trust you.
Whatever. You know, you were so.
Your eyes are too close together. You never trust people whose eyes are so close together. Todd Fizzer. Probably fishes deep for smallmouth.
Todd Fizzer.
Congratulations.
There you go, Todd. Congratulations. You win the tackle pack this week. We have another one for next week.
Here, put Todd's name with that, Mike.
Yep.
Todd Fizzer. Congrats, bro.
Yep, absolutely. So there you go. There's our drawing for the week. And we have another drawing coming up for next week. We didn't even get it together, Nick. I thought that was the one for tonight. Okay, well, we're a little behind, but it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. So whatever you do, if you want the drawing for this week, like and share and get yourself, in the drawing. You can do it from all the social media platforms that we have, or is it just Facebook? Huh?
It is just for Facebook.
That's just Facebook?
Yeah, just Facebook. You're going to like and you're going to share this post, this live.
Okay, this live.
And what we'll do is tomorrow, we'll have Caitlin and Mike post up the package.
Yeah.
And whoever liked and shared this live,
this one today,
today's,
yep,
they will be in the
there
drawing.
You go. And I promise you, I'll have the drawing ready for next week. We just, vacation. I'm sorry. I was on vacation.
Hey, it's all good.
I'm a little off. All right. Fantastic. Connor McLaughlin. Yeah, I know. Inconsistent fall bites. You guys are good, right? All over Bass Shad. Yeah. Today. So yeah, Greggy, absolutely. Them gloves are unbelievable. They're fantastic. Nick was given product. Yeah, I know. Nick does a great pre-tackle shop live, and he covered us for he covered us big time for that. So that's awesome.
You see Daryl Esterly's on there. He's down in Gunnersville right now.
I know.
Fishing a big tournament.
We're running out of battery power, George. I got to get your thing. Hold on.
We need power.
I'll get it. Oh, go ahead. We're running out of power here, folks. Forgot to plug this bad boy in. But okay. So we're going to be moving on in this show, and we're going to get to the meat and potatoes, and we're going to talk about the fall bite ups and downs, clear water fishing. And this is our tackle fishing technique section. We're going to start that right now.
There's some juice for you.
Yeah. Feel the power.
and he's telling the Uber driver, "Stop the car!" right in the middle of the street. It was a cluster.
Hey, we're back. You guys seeing me? You guys see me? Is everybody seeing me? We had a technical difficulty. Nothing new for Tackle Shop Live. That's for sure.
Keeping it 100.
Yeah, can you hear me? And you can hear me. Good. Good.
All right, baby.
Good, good, good. All right. Sorry about that. George messed up here.
I did. I put a bucket
And,
of water on the laptop. I didn't know it was waterproof.
We apologize for that. A little bit of a delay, but we're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. And then we're going to start talking about some fishing tackle.
I'll tell you what, Mike, while we let some people load back on here, why don't we just talk real quickly about the Toyota Championship on Lake Gunnersville?
Okay.
That'll let some people load up, get caught back up.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
after our
Snafu.
infarction.
A beer run, right, Robert? Damn computers, Chris Hod. Yeah, you got that right, man.
Yeah, you know.
Andy Garrett, how you doing, pal? John Snook, what's up, man? You guys hanging in there. Thanks so much. Jamie Johnson, Robert Bretz, thanks for hanging tight.
Yeah,
We appreciate it.
it happens.
Does
It
happen.
happens. Matter of fact, it's been going too good for too many weeks, so I actually just reached over and turned the computer off.
Well, you know what happened was the power was low and it kicked into a Windows update, and it just, you know how those updates are, man. They're just like
Brutal.
you can't stop them, you can't do anything. You just sit there and look at the blue screen, and I'm like worrying about you guys. Blue screen's up.
I was watching the World Series.
George is watching the World Series,
But we're back.
but now we're back.
We are back and better than ever.
Yep.
Yeah, so let me just break this down for you. So this is day one of the Toyota Championship. Now, for those tournament guys that are on the screen here, and I know there's a lot of you out there, if you're not totally down with the Toyota Championship, it's a pretty cool deal. And let me explain why. So the Toyota Series is Major League Fishing's AA circuit, which allows you to compete at, you know, a pro type level without being a touring pro. You know, it's kind of, and I don't want to sound stupid here, but it's kind of cost effective. Now, why did I say that? Because the championship is no entry fee and first place is $200,000. Now, let that sink in for a minute. You have to fish at a tour level to fish for anything over 100K unless you make the All-American. Okay? You have to be at the tour level. So here is a
lot of guys fishing this tournament.
Oh, yeah, it's huge. A lot of tour pros.
Was it always that big? Or
Always.
I didn't never
As
thought
soon
it was
as you
that
put
big.
200K on the line, everybody that owns a boat's fishing that bad boy.
Yeah.
But you got to earn your way in. You just don't just show up. You have to fish your division of your
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Toyota, and
Yeah.
you have to finish in, I believe it's a top 45. There are some other ways in.
So
through
it's
the
called the Toyota Championship, not
Toyota Championship.
it's not the All-American.
No, All American is
Another.
the level below that.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
the
VFL.
Bass Fishing League.
Yeah. Wow.
So
wow.
that is what's going on. Now, if you're running a Phoenix and you win this bad boy, it's plus 35. So your check will say 235K. But here's two things interesting about, and it's day one. Nobody's saying nothing. And Major League Fishing's coverage sucks. Sorry, Boyd. I call it the way I see it. Check this out. Todd Castledine, the Texas Hammer, the beast from East Texas, is kicking ass and counting bass. First place with 21 pounds, 3 ounces. Todd Castledine is not somebody to be messed with. Okay. He's made a living out of taking people's lunch money in tournaments. But here's who I got my eye on. Fourth place on a roll. Tristan McCormick. Okay. College. And I want to say Bethel University. College angler who last year qualified for the Classic, Bassmaster Classic now, through the college bracket fish off, which is the highest level of college championship. Just qualified for the Classic again by winning the Rayburn Bass Central Open, the last one of the series, won it, qualified for the Classic again. This guy's on a roll. He qualified, I believe, for the Elite Series. I'm almost positive on that. I did not do my homework there, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. He's in fourth place with 20 pounds, 3 ounces. So not a lot of people out there are gonna take Todd Castledine off the game plan. If he's on fish, you got a problem. But this Tristan McCormick, he's got Uncle Momentum on his side. Okay, so that's where we're at on Tournament Talk. We will break down. I mean, they're doing everything from punching to frogging to chasing schoolies.
George,
It's what you do in the fall.
so what's wrong? I haven't watched any of it. Is it?
There's nothing to watch.
Oh, there's nothing to watch.
Yeah, I mean, they got photo galleries that are like updated once every other day.
And they're not going to do any of the days of live.
No.
No, that's
No, I don't know about the last day, but today they had one photo gallery today of On the Water, literally a photo gallery. There's no blog. And if there is, I can't find it on their website because it's a freaking eighth wonder of the world. But it's only a $200,000 tournament. I mean,
Where's Schmidt? Brian Schmidt? Did you see any?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
you didn't see any.
I didn't read down through you can get the leaderboard. You actually can. When you come on their site, the leaderboard pops up. I mean, they got that part right. No disparity to the people that work there. I know you're working under guidelines, but it's not cool. It's not cool. Okay? All right, let's talk about a few concepts, solutions to common problems, and what have you, as far as the fall, kind of like wandering portion of fall is concerned. Really clear water, high pressure systems, temperatures that, you're cold for a few days, then you're warm for a few days, your water temperature goes down, your water temperature comes up. Your fish are doing different things than what the playbook says. They're still eating.
Clear water,
They're still eating.
low, clear water.
But how do you figure it out and make them bite? Because they are still eating.
Guaranteed.
You can say, oh, man, the water temperature was down. Now the water temperature's back up. Oh, my goodness. It's going to be 75 tomorrow. The water temperature is going to be.
Well,
That's not solving the problem.
No, when you have those types of swings, when you have those ups and downs, that's
Kind of like the stock market.
Yeah, you have these crazy ups and downs. You'll have one day you go out and absolutely smash them, and you go back the next day and you can't find anything. That's very normal for fall fishing. But when you have, low or, clear water and you have those temperature swings where it shuts them down, or they moves them. That you just have to relocate. Now your bite window will get a little bit smaller when this stuff happens. So instead of them biting all day long on a great overcast, low pressure day, and everything was perfect, and you whacked them all day long, and all of a sudden you get back and it's, it's partly cloudy, maybe some clouds around, but a high pressure is moving in. Those bite windows are just getting smaller. They're getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So you have to be around the fish. So this is where it gets very frustrating for a lot of people, because they go out and they just are like, man, I killed them there a couple days ago, or last weekend I was out and I crushed them and we just didn't get bit today. Well, what did you do? Well, I fished, fish the same areas, and but that's where you got to really start to do your changing and changing up, right? What's the matter?
Well, I mean, you do, but what I like to stress is, if you found fish and you're around fish, at some point during the day, those fish will bite. Don't just sit on them all day long. Rotate through.
Yeah, but all I was saying was, a lot of times those fish move 100 yards, 200 yards,
absolutely,
over here, over there.
Absolutely.
They might just move a little bit, and that's the thing about this time of year is you can't fall in love with anything. You can't just say that this is the way they bit. This is the way they're going to bite today. That's the biggest mistake I see people making in fall fishing, is they just don't make the adjustment for the day. If any one time you go fishing and you have to have a clean slate every single day, it's in the fall. You need to start the day out all brand new and start all over again. And that means a bait change. That means a whole bunch of things to try to get those fish to bite again.
Well, a couple of things that I look for are wind. Okay, so one of my things that I'm going to take advantage of is wind. So wind is going to do a couple things for me. If it's a sustained, steady wind leading up to my day of fishing, that's easy. I'm going to go fish wherever my school of fish was that I was on the week before, or wherever the bait was from the school of fish that I was on the week before. I'm going to go and follow that direction that wind's been blowing to find them. Okay. If it's the day that I'm fishing and I locate these fish and they're not really committing, I'm going to take advantage of wind by coming back to them when I notice that wind picks up. Wind ripples the surface in this low, clear water that a lot of places are faced with right now, because a lot of the country's in a drought. Wind will put a ripple on the surface. It breaks up that visual. But wind also pushes water and creates current. And when you have a little bit of current, you have an advantage. Okay, you do not want to go into that advantage in a finesse approach. You want to go into that advantage in an aggressive approach. You want to be, winding something. It might be a spinnerbait. It might be a crankbait. You have to take into consideration all of your options, all of your, is it cloudy?
Mm-hmm.
Is it sunny?
Yeah.
Is it high pressure? That wind starts blowing, that's stacking the deck your way. Pay attention to those little tiny details. I'll actually chase wind. If I have an area that's holding fish and they're not biting, I'll try to find them again. But if I see wind on the water, I'll go fish that area.
Yeah, and there's a lot of times where most days in the fall you're going to have that sometime during the day you're going to have that wind come up and pick up, and then you got to go looking for it.
That's a big deal in the fall.
That's a big deal, and you got to know where your neck downs are. Where it kind of funnels that water through a little bit more, and you build up that current, because those fish will just stack up on those spots. But if it doesn't really happen right away, and you're dealing with these conditions that are real slick and real clear and real, whatever, pressured, there's a lot of things you can do to help.
That's a problem.
It's a terrible problem. It's super hard. And, so bait selection is very important during that time, but there's things you can do. smaller lines, dropping down a poundage or two, down to say you're throwing 10, you can go down to an 8, go down to a 10, 6 in some situations. And then the other thing you can do is make those longer casts. Those longer casts, you would not believe what extra 10 feet, on your cast will do in super clear water, in super high pressured pressured areas. That cast being that little bit longer distance.
Get away from the boat.
Yeah, it'll get away from the boat. Just the pressure of the boat being on the water, George,
Get away from the boat.
is when fish are really funky, they feel that. They feel that pressure of that
You know,
boat. So make that long cast.
A lot of times when we have flat calm, high pressure, clear water, tough fall conditions, which we're going to have. Especially in the way the weather's been the last few weeks, which, we're not bitching about it. It's been beautiful, but it can make for some frustrating fishing at times. But when you have that, I make some changes. So
What up, Iowa?
if I'm fishing a fluke, for example, I'm going to switch to braided line and my leader and a longer rod if I have it available to me so that I can cast farther. I want to get away from the boat. Now,
Got to have that Zen rod,
that
man.
braid, when I get that cast way the hell out there and that fish eats that fluke, I need no stretch in that line to get that hook set. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one adjustment.
Yeah.
And the fluke is a phenomenal bait for tough conditions because it's got that slow, seductive.
Yep. You can fish it in so many
The
different
fall
ways.
is very unpredictable. Pop, pop.
Mm-hmm.
Let it fall back down again.
Yeah.
And it should be in your rotation.
Absolutely.
Now, you get those same tough, flat, calm, high pressure, conditions, and you're around fish. You're around fish, and you can't see the fish, and there's not much cover there. That's another finesse situation. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of times in the fall when I'm going to do this, but that's a time when I'm going to pick up a TRD.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pick up a TRD. I'm going to pick up a light line. I'm either going to put a light leader on my braid, or I'm going to pick up a spinning rod with light line. It's not the way I want to go, but I'm gonna take a few minutes. I'm gonna soak that TRD in that area. I'm not asking you to commit to it for the day,
but
I'm asking you to make 3, 4, 5, 6 casts.
Absolutely.
Fanned out in that area. Remember,
Absolutely.
a lot of times these fish are not relating to anything but the bait. They might not be. There might be grass in here. There might be. Mike and I are on a situation right now where we found a massive school of giant shad that are relating to eelgrass. And the bass, both smallmouth and largemouth, are relating to the shad. They're not
Absolutely.
really relating to the eelgrass. They're relating to the shad. And they're just kind of out there in no man's land.
Yeah.
And the last time we fished
waiting
them,
for them shad to make a mistake.
yeah, make a little mistake. And the last time we fished them, it was flat calm. It was high pressure. It was really, really tough. And every once in a while, we would take a Okashira screw head with a little 3-inch spark shad, catch a couple fish. Every once in a while, those shad would spin out of that grass a little wider than normal, and those fish would blow up on them. But it was so calm and so delicate that we'd have to take a little popper, splash it, or a world pop.
That was
and pop those fish.
That was pretty strange how
Right?
that whole thing worked.
But that was
But we've also caught them.
that was dialed into these conditions.
Yeah, but we even also caught them on a spinner bait and the
when the wind was blowing.
and the super flute.
When the wind was blowing. I'm talking about when the wind's not blowing.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. The whole day you're changing up the whole entire day, and you're following all that kind of stuff in between there, and you're changing with the conditions. We had it in reverse. Normally it's a little bit windy as the day progresses, but our day slowed down in wind. as the day progressed.
Yeah, we went from, I mean, we were able to throw a spinnerbait. We were able to throw a fluke. We were able to do a lot of things. And then it just got like, which is what prompted this program. We all leave the house full speed ahead charge. They're going to be chewing. We're going to bang them up. And a lot of times that's the case. But when you get tough conditions, you're going to have that opportunity here and there. But what do you do the rest of the time? Okay, now, we do have some advantages today that we didn't have years ago. When we cut our teeth on this type of fishing, we didn't have the electronics that we have today. We didn't have the amazing side imaging, which is now common. We didn't have the forward facing, which is now common.
360.
We didn't have the 360, which is now common. And we do rely on that. We rely on that both from an informational standpoint of view and the challenge of learning it and helping us find these fish. You spend a few hours out there struggling. You're looking for clues, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's how we ended up finding this big school of shad, was on the forward facing. Wasn't quite sure what was going on until we investigated. It turned out it was the mother lode of big shad. These fish are going to be around this bait for a while. They're going to move around, obviously. We're going to have to relocate them every day, but they're there.
As long as that bait stays there, it's going to be hammer time down in that
And
area.
that is why it's so important. Mike and I talked about it a little bit in our pre-production meeting tonight. What's our bullet points? What's our high points? And you hear it, you read it. It's everybody says it. It's almost like a catchphrase in the fall.
Yeah.
Look for the bait. Well, no kidding.
Yeah.
But there's bait and then there's bait. So what I mean by that, Mike?
Well, the thing about bait is you have all different sizes. And
I'm going to come over here. Hold on.
pat me on the back.
Nope.
Anyway, you got these different size bait and you got to figure out what bait that the fish are keying in on. And
You want a lollipop.
I
Yeah.
want a lollipop. Thanks.
Fantastic
But not
work.
not only that, when they do figure out what they're keying in on, you need to match the hatch with the right type of bait.
Well,
So-
and you do. And it seems counterintuitive to be in a clear, high pressure situation and throwing a, pointer 128 or a, Megabass mag
draft.
mag draft or mag 110.
Yeah, mag 110.
It seems counterintuitive, but when your whole area is little minnows and little shad, and then you find a big area with 5 and 6 inch shad,
Yeah.
you need to throw a big bait.
You need to throw a big bait, and you need to understand that even though you can't maybe see the bass, they're around that bait fish
Listen,
somewhere.
They
Listen,
are there.
there
They're
is
not
a-
leaving.
This is exactly what happened to us 2 weeks ago. The big fish moved away from the bait because of the conditions that we had. They had it pushed up in the grass. They weren't aggressively fishing because it wasn't their time yet. If we would have stayed till the end of the night or got there first thing in the morning, they might have been feeding on them things like crazy. But the time we were there, we caught some fish, but we didn't catch the right fish. The big fish we caught were away from those by hundreds of yards, weren't they, George?
They were. And, as much as I hate to admit it, you have to play that. I shouldn't say I hate to admit it. It's just some things I don't care to do. One of them is I'm not a big fan. We did a whole show on the A-rig. I'm not a big A-rig guy. I just hate throwing it. It's hard. It's just
Where we fish, it's the leaves and
just
the grass.
anywhere I fish. I just don't like throwing the damn thing.
I like
but
throwing it.
But I will tell you, it's fun to catch fish on.
Yeah.
The strikes are violent, but you're keying in on that competitive nature. So when you have that bait, you might have these negative conditions that we're talking about, but when you have that bait, you got the corner boys working for you. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, they're down there slinging.
I
they're
guarantee
slinging
you,
some yellow tops.
I guarantee you find the right bait and you find the fish around that bait. Those are going to be the bigger fish. They're going to be eating that bigger bait. They're not going to be fighting for that little stuff because I don't know what it is. I guess shad spawn like 3 or 4 times a year.
Well, at least if you have good conditions,
Yeah.
they'll spawn 3 times a year. If you're in a place like Florida,
Yeah.
they spawn all the time.
Yeah. Well,
it's like a freaking orgy out there on the lake. I mean,
down in Florida.
I mean, there's freaking Barry White playing on the docks. It's crazy. But
well, I mean,
I'm just saying.
You know, we've seen it over and over and over where we found this awesome bait, but it was all that little flicky stuff. They're not eating that shit.
If that's all there is.
Well, yeah, but they're not eating that stuff.
That's not all
you
there
know
is.
that's not
all there is.
Yeah. You got to follow the right bait. You got to find the right bait.
And you find the big bait, you know, we are talking some finesse techniques, but if you find the big bait,
yeah,
your finesse technique is sizing up.
Don't forget, this is fall. This is power fishing time of the year if you can get it to work.
I mean, there are times when it's flat calm.
I get it.
You know,
we
just talked about that.
I get that.
But if you're on the big bait,
you got to push me. You got to push me over the edge for
if
me.
You're on the big
to
bait,
slow down. But even still, just looking for him.
Dead sticking.
I ain't messing around,
110 mag.
I ain't screwing around with this little shit. I'm throwing big spinner baits.
Dead sticking a 110 mag. Dead sticking a pointer 128. That's finesse fishing.
Yeah, we're throwing. You know, jerk baits. We're Zoom super flukes. We're top water.
The
big
donkey
top
rig.
We're doing the donkey rig. We're power fishing until it finally
grass rake.
Till it finally slaps us in the face that yes, we fished over top a lot of fish. We might have caught one here and there, but it's just not a power fishing day. At this point, not the day, but at this point, it's not a power fishing day. We need to go back over that with the stupid, you know, Ned rigs and the wacky rig Senko.
Well, that's a great point.
And you know,
that's
you know
a great
what I mean?
point.
And the only reason I say it's stupid is because this time of year, you're not supposed to have to do that. But in certain fall conditions, like we're having for us, like we're having right now,
a lot of the country,
which is no rain, warmer conditions, colder conditions, warmer conditions, colder conditions, up and down, but that no rain and that clear water, you have to say to yourself, man, I just can't do my thing I always do. I gotta move around. I gotta, you know, do the pump fake and maybe chuck a
spy bait.
Oh, Jesus. Lord.
I'm telling you.
Look what he said. Spy bait.
You know, if you want to finesse fish some fall school behavior.
Are you kidding me?
On flat water.
Are you kidding me?
You roll that spy.
Crystal clear water.
Do not leave that area.
Are you kidding me?
Do not leave that area until you fan cast a spy bait.
Son.
Now, there is a new spy bait in my world. The spy bait's phenomenal, and I'm not taking anything away from it, but the new spy bait is the Okashira screwhead.
Dude.
With a 3-inch spark shed.
I was going to say that one.
That's a new spy bait.
Are you kidding
2 weeks ago, I ran into exactly what you guys were talking about. It was no wind. Everybody's throwing jerk baits. Everybody's throwing spinner baits. And I'm looking around. Nobody's catching anything. I'm like, I'm going to try the spark shad because George has been talking about it up at the St. Lawrence and all this stuff.
And
it was the difference between us putting fish in the boat and the right size fish. We're talking 2.5 to 3.5 pounders. And it was a great day.
Don't ever underestimate the size of the bait.
Right.
You know,
I'm just telling you this.
I'm just saying, that's just something.
That rig is a spy bait 2.0.
Yeah, but that's spy bait. My God.
What I do with that spy bait when I got that flat conditions and that bluebird, and I go through all that big talk that I just did and catch some fish, but it's like, before I leave, because I'm coming back, I just want to leave them with a little parting gift. And I take that spy bait or that Arcashira head, or I mix it up and I fan cast that area. I'm not talking about a commitment. I'm talking 5-6 casts. I'll spin my trolling motor around, pan around, You know, look, I'm looking out 60, 70 feet. I'm just
So-
panning around, see if I see something. If
So-
not, I still,
So here's
if they're laying on the bottom, you don't see them.
you said something there, and one of the things that George is saying all the time is, 5-6 casts. You got to realize you got to make the right 5 and 6 casts. If you're not making the right cast with the right presentation, it may take 10, 12, 14 casts in an area to get the right angle or the right whatever. But if you really if you're really dialed in to what's going on, you can make a couple of 5-6 casts over top of those fish at a couple quick angles. And then you can say, well, you know what? They're not eating out here. I need to do something else. So, that's where time on the water, but I'm not there. I don't spend enough time on the water like I used to, where I can make, surgical casts and know exactly what the fish are thinking. There's people, George just very good at it. There's people that are really good at it. There's a lot of us, we don't have that, so we have to make a bunch of casts, make all kinds of movements and throw around.
Like, I'm trying to bring you along.
Well, I'm just being real. I'm being real. Like, we talk about like when I was in the day,
You were on.
I was on. I mean,
You know what they say about back in the day?
I used to talk to bass.
You know what they say about back in the day?
Yeah.
It was back
It
in
was
the day.
back in the day. I used to talk to bass.
But you
I
know what
had-
Toby Keith
I had
said.
bass. I was a bass whisperer back in. I was a bass whisperer.
Not as good as you once was.
That's right.
Yeah. It's just the way it was.
It's all good, bro. It's all good.
It's time on the water.
Look at your beard. It wasn't gray back in the day.
I do
I'm
wanna
just
give-
saying, I'm saying, you know what I mean? I'm saying that for the majority of us, that 5 or 6 casts may be 10, 12, 15, 18 casts before you say, okay, shit.
Well,
they're
I'm not
biting.
going to lie to you. The Garmin has changed
It really has.
the way George fishes.
It really has.
Now, I don't fish as many tournaments as I used to. And I can tell you right now, the big boys could be lucky back in the day that I didn't have that.
Oh, back in the day. Here we go.
But let me just tell you,
know what to say about back in the day.
like down on that screen, one eye on the screen, and I can promise you this much: I'm gonna start breaking cables on my trolling motors because I just freaking pivot that thing all day long. I might not be going anywhere, but it's just like I'm just waiting for cables to start snapping. But anyways, without getting stupid about this,
Yeah.
I run
that's fall fishing. That's fall
I
fishing.
run the old school 32 transducer. I can literally see a 12-foot a 12-inch bass like 55 feet out in front of my boat. If I need to see more than that, then I got a problem. But anyways, when I picked that spy bait up, and I'm specifically talking about this scenario, when I pick that spy bait up or I pick that Akashira head up, which is laying right there on my front deck, I am not picking that up and not just randomly casting it. I've already, I might not even see any fish, but I've caught some fish in the area. I've already panned and marked a clump of eelgrass or marked a rock. I'm going to tell you this, I'm marking cover more than I'm marking fish.
Exactly.
And that is no bull at all. Now, I do fish in current a lot of the times, and the fish do hold close to the bottom. But knowing where that clump of grass is and knowing where that rock is,
Yeah.
and I say I make 6 fan casts in an area, I know where those casts are going, right? And that is a cleanup bait. If you're not throwing a spy bait or the spy bait 2.0, which is the Akashira head with the spark shed, you're doing yourself a disservice because before you leave that school of fish, see, the interesting thing about a school of fish, even on a tough day like this, and this is the one thing I would like everybody to really key in on. You talk about these pros all the time saying it. I got this school of fish fired up. Yeah. When you first roll up on them, it might be a topwater. You know, this time of the year under these circumstances, it might be a walking bait. It might be a lipless crankbait. It It might be a crankbait.
Yeah.
Those are very aggressive baits.
Yeah.
You fire that school up, boom, 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 boom. But then they say they're like Lee Corso. You know what Lee Corso says?
Not familiar with him.
Not so fast, my friend.
Mm.
He's the coach. They're like Lee Corso. Not so fast, my friend. And you have to downshift to a less aggressive technique, i.e., a suspending jerkbait, i.e., a super fluke. Boom, 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 boom. You fire them up again, but the flurry's not as pronounced.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all big fish. Why? Because you found that big bait. Before you leave that area, you need to run that rig.
Yeah.
You need to swim that spy bait. You need to swim that spy bait 2.0.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And if it's a mega school, and let's
Yeah.
face it, it doesn't happen every day,
Yeah.
that's when you pick up the little plastic and drag it. What are you thinking, Nick?
So I have a tip, and it goes along with your 6 casts. A lot of guys not only have forward view today, they also have 360. And they see the structure, and you said it yourself, George, the fish are laying on the bottom.
A lot of times.
There's 2 things that I like to do. I love your 2.0 rig, and sometimes you'll get those fish to come up and
Absolutely.
you'll see them.
Absolutely.
But another rig that I'll always have on is a 1/2 ounce jig head with a 3-inch. It could be a Kitech fat, or it could be the Spark Shad. And I'm going to bring it real slow through that structure. And if I don't get it on the first cast, I'll pop it off the bottom. You'll see it on your live, and you'll see a fisher in that area. If they're
Yeah.
not in that area, leave.
You're gone.
But you got everything covered at that point.
Yeah, a lot of times on that last pop, and
Very
I do it a lot with a yo-yo and a trap.
Yeah, same
So
thing.
I do the same thing. I'll let that trap fall to the bottom, and I'll pop that trap up. And what happens is that gets hot. So if you're on a blue color palette, it gets orange or yellow. If you're on an orange palette, it gets red, right? And you see it pop up. And a lot of times you'll see 5 other aliens come up after it, right? Like missiles. And you can kind of tell they're small fish from the feedback, but it lets you know that the fish are in the area.
I like catching them. I'll catch them.
Perhaps you should make a cast or 2 before you leave.
I'm prejudiced. Catch them.
I'm not trying to make this show sound like you have to have this stuff.
No, you don't. You don't.
Simply relating if you do. It's another avenue. As a matter of fact, on a tough day, I can't do this because of my addiction, but you could turn it off. And you would be fishing that area more thoroughly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I fight with it.
I'm not
I
able to
fight
do
with
that.
them on it.
I'm not able to
I'm
do
like,
that.
bro, we need to move a little faster. Well, I'm scanning. I'm like, no, we need to move a little faster. There's days where you got to move.
You
can't-
do. You do.
You can't.
And Mike
get
brought
stuck
that
on it.
point up earlier tonight. Another thing on these tough fall conditions, do cover water.
Mhm.
You're going to locate multiple schools of bait. You're going to locate multiple schools of fish.
Exactly.
And you have to rotate.
Yeah.
You have to ride that rotation around.
And I'm not afraid
Right?
to run. I'm not afraid to run 10, 12 miles. I'm not afraid. The guys know me. When I put my boat in the water in the fall, I have a full topped off tank of gas where it's spitting out the spout, because you don't know what your day is going to bring. Some days you burn a cup of gas or 2 cups of gas. You don't even, you get to your area and they're just on. But those days are even in the fall, those days are really few and far between. Most of the time I'm burning fuel. I'm running here. I'm running there. I'm running dam to dam on whatever section of the river I'm fishing. I'm running dam to dam. I'm covering water.
So you like to run and gun, basically.
Well, I run and gun if I have to. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to say to myself that, okay, on Wednesday when I was out, because this happens all the time to me when I was guiding hard. When I was guiding a lot, this would happen to me all the time. I would be out on a Wednesday, knock the hell out of them in this one section. I'll go you one further. I was out on a Sunday and beat the tar out of them. And then the next day went back to those same areas, and those fish weren't within 300-400 yards. They were gone. They were gone. They were quarter of a mile away until I found them again. because it's the system that I'm fishing. But you can't be all I say to guys is you can't this time of year, there's a school of fish biting somewhere on, on that body of water. Somewhere
Keep looking.
those fish are eating and they're eating good, and you need to keep moving around. But you always
Keep looking.
You always want to remember about that school of fish that you had earlier, because you want to check that, because they might have bit in the morning, and all of a sudden now they're biting in the afternoon. George and I were just talking to one of our guides. Thank you for the beer, Tony Cicero. His bite isn't even happening until after 12 o'clock. He says, this guy tomorrow he's taking out. He said, sleep in, get there whenever you want, just let me know whatever time, because his bite is later in the day right now. Why? I have no idea.
Well, one of the things I wanted to
It's
say,
one of
Mike,
those things. So
one of the things I wanted to say, and you and I touched on it a little bit before we went live. It's not uncommon in these, what do we call them? Inconsistent conditions. It's not uncommon for the afternoon, late afternoon, early evening bite to be the best bite window.
it's not uncommon.
So, kind of to Tony's point, talking to his clients for tomorrow, hey, they're from out of town. They're up here overnight. They were going to go out and have some dinner tonight. He's like, hey, if you guys want to stay out a little late and maybe get a later start, that's fine with me. Because
He left biting fish today.
that afternoon bite is where it's at.
Yeah.
That is a common occurrence. And now I realize if you're a tournament guy, weigh-ins when weigh-in is. But if you're not, if the wife's got a honey-do list for you, or she's on your ass about not going to church, maybe check off some boxes here. And,
Yeah.
put the boat in at noon.
Yeah.
Fish till 6.
Hey, Nick, about that drawing.
Yeah.
Is there any way we can incorporate some YouTube guys? Is there any way can they comment on that?
Sure. If that's fine. Like and comment on YouTube,
Yeah.
and we'll put you in the drawing too.
Yeah.
You just can't share it. You can't share
Right.
a YouTube.
Right.
But yeah, like and comment.
We don't have a ton of YouTubers, but there's a couple guys on
Yeah,
here.
that's
I don't
good.
want to. Just thinking about that.
Right. If they so what we'll do is if you share and like this Facebook live, you're in.
Yeah.
If you're on YouTube,
Comment,
if you comment and like
it,
yep, and you subscribe,
and you subscribe.
then you're in.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. There you go. There you go, boys. All right. Well,
I think it's time to put a bow on this
I think
sucker.
we covered it pretty good, Nick. But you got anything else?
Oh no, you guys did great.
And I like that tip, Nick, about making those casts and then doing that, trying to trigger the bite.
It works.
Yeah, I know. It
And
does.
all
I
of
know
you,
it does. You shouldn't give that up.
All you Houston Astro fans out there, sorry about that. Sorry the Phillies are going to take your thunder and destroy your hopes and dreams, but
Yeah.
here at Tackle Shop Live, we still like you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess one last thing I want to say, I don't like to do this, but
But you're going to anyways.
I'm going to anyways. We're coming up on a pretty important voting cycle. Go out and vote. I don't care which way you vote, but you got to go out and vote. We got to vote for some kind of change, whether you do it, however you do it. I don't care. But if you don't vote, we're not going to get the change. So we need to have the change. Need to do it some way. It can be a change either way. I don't really care, but you got to go out and vote. So make sure you guys, coming up here a few more days. I think we got 5 more days. November the 8th. Get out there. Put your vote in for yourself. Don't put it in for anybody else. Put it in for yourself and the way you believe. And it's important either way. It's important to get your, voice your opinion by a vote, and that's coming up. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Great show, guys.
Next week, we are going to talk about mid to late fall. We're going to break down the season in phases.
Yeah.
We're going to go mid to late fall. We're going to talk about flat-sided crankbaits. the secret weapon crankbait,
Yeah.
as I like to call it, the Moab.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about some cold water, early cold water finesse techniques, and much other things.
Much other things, as
So,
always.
Thank you so much.
And I'm telling you
We
right now.
appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule.
Yeah. And sorry about that mid-show.
That was all Mike's
lax.
fault.
It was, technical difficulties.
Mike did it.
We have that
He didn't
stuff.
pay the electric bill.
We have that stuff around here at Susquehanna Fish and Tackle. A lot of technical difficulties.
Can't wait for next week.
I deal with one every day, a technical difficulty.
Can't wait for next week.
Till next time, we'll see you on the next Tackle Shop Live.
On a sunny day, right there you took my breath away. Young and pretty, was it just a dream? The next day you called me up, you told me I'm your little buttercup. You came over and you fell into my arms. Well, I know what I feel. Please tell me your love is real. You make me smile when I think of you. If I am down or when I am blue, I can't get enough. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. I woke up all soaked in sweat, with chills running down my neck. I'm going crazy from just the thought of you. A long blonde hair and your beautiful smile. Your sense of humor makes it all worthwhile. Don't make me wait, it's not a funny game. You know just what I feel. Please tell me our love is real. You make me smile.